everyone, it's Lori Bumbaco, oncology dietitian, presenting another month of a food holiday to celebrate. And this is for Judy Nicholson Kidney Cancer Foundation. Hopefully you've had the opportunity to watch all year long. Each month we've celebrated a different food holiday. And for the month of October, I thought, why not decide on something that is really cozy and comforting to welcome the fall weather. So October 29th, yes, we're almost in the holiday season, including Halloween, but let's start first with a really healthful, nutritious food holiday. October 29th, it's National Oatmeal Day. Wow, did you know that? So let's celebrate oatmeal, and I have two different recipes to share with you, but let's take a start first with talking about the different types of oatmeal that we have available, or oats, I should say. And then also too, what is the value of oats in a nutritious cancer protective diet? Why is this dietitian so excited about oats? Well, I would say it's one of the most underrated ingredients we could have in our kitchen. And I always have oats stocked in the pantry. So oats, we have a couple different types. And I'm going to take you through the processing spectrum. So we're going to start first with the least processed type of oat. It's called Oat Groats. Have you ever heard of them? And maybe you've seen them or you've had the opportunity to eat them. They are the least processed of all oats. And they have that tough outer shell or husk that requires a long time to cook. So that's probably why most Americans are not enjoying oat groats, but they are available. And I encourage you to look for them and to try them in different recipes. They're great as a substitute for like a hearty whole grain, like something like farro or wheat berries. It's a good way to substitute oat groats for those recipes. Next up, we have the ever popular steel cut oats. So I have some steel cut oats here, and I also have a recipe to show you that showcases steel cut oats. And one of my favorite versions of steel cut oats to look for, and I want you to look for these because they are everywhere. These are quick cooking steel cut oats. So these are chopped smaller, and they're next on the processing spectrum. So they remove that tough outer husk from the oat groat, and in the quick cooking steel cut oats, they chop them up smaller. So when they chop them up smaller, it increases the surface area for when it cooks, and it doesn't take as long to cook. So according to this package, a serving of this, it only takes about 8 to 9 minutes to cook. Isn't that wonderful? A great way to start the day, if you ask me. Now, a lot of times I'll make a big batch of steel cut oats so that during the week, a couple times or a few times during the week, if I want to warm up a bowl of steel cut oats, it's very easy to do that. It's only going to take me a minute or two to do. So next on the food processing oat spectrum, we have good old-fashioned rolled oats or old-fashioned oats. And these are fantastic. I think they are one of the best choices to have in the pantry of your cancer protective kitchen. So what they do with old-fashioned oats are they roll them out and they steam them and they flatten them out. So that really decreases the cooking time, and they are just as nutritious as our steel cut oats. So if you are a fan of steel cut oats and you like to use them, wonderful. But if you're not, you don't necessarily care for the texture, then I would encourage you to look for these old-fashioned oats. They are a great whole grain, and I'm going to get into the nutritional benefits in just a moment, so bear with me. Now, the last stop on the food processing spectrum for oats are our instant oats. And so what they do with instant oats is they take these old-fashioned oats and they just chop them up smaller. So they are literally cooking up in an instant. Now, they are no less nutritious. They're still nutritious for us. So if you find you enjoy them as well, I encourage you to include them. I actually like to use instant oats as a replacement for breadcrumbs in my bean burger recipes or as a coating to my proteins. It's a great way to add a different whole grain that has a lot of nutritional value. Now, let's go back to these rolled oats. I like to make granola bars with my rolled oats, or a really popular recipe called overnight oats. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. with our steel cut oats, some people actually like to make a risotto using steel cut oats. Have you ever come across these recipes? How fun is that? So because they take so long to cook, it lends itself well in a risotto. And I have a savory application that I want you to consider for our steel cut oats, and I'm going to show you that in a minute as well. So let's talk about the nutritional value of our oats. So oats, why does this dietitian support you consuming more oats? Well, they lower a lot of things. They're great at lowering things. So they lower the lousy cholesterol or LDL cholesterol. They also lower blood pressure. They lower our blood sugars. And because they lower our blood sugars, they also help to lower hunger levels. So they help us feel satisfied for most of the day. They control appetite. So not only do they lower those things, and it's really thanks to a special fiber called beta-glucans that are inside oats. Not many foods have beta-glucans. Beta-glucans are a type of viscous fiber. So think about when oats are like sticking to your ribs, they travel through our digestive tract nice and slow. So they make us feel full. And that's because of the viscosity of the type of fiber that are in oats. Now, oats lower things, right? I've made that pretty clear, but they also raise things in our diet. So they raise energy levels. And that's again because of that satiety producing effect that oats have. They keep us feeling full and they slowly release into our bloodstream. So it gives us energy and sustainable energy throughout the day. And they also raise one more thing. So two things that they raise in the cancer protective diet. They also raise quality. So we all know the way to go about a cancer protective diet is to improve the quality of the ingredients and the foods that we consume every day. So a high quality diet is cancer protective because it includes whole grains. Whole grains are going to give us fiber, which is so important for blood sugar control as well as weight management. So if you're looking for those two pieces of the puzzle for your wellness, oats are a great way to pursue that. Now, let's go on to these recipes, right? That's what we're here for. So I want to start first with some overnight oats. And overnight oats are very popular. Maybe you've tried them or heard them. I want you to try making these for yourself at home. They're so simple, but they're a great component of meal planning. So if you find yourself rushed for time in the morning, this is a great way to have breakfast on the go. And what I love about overnight oats are that they're versatile. So you get to pick and choose whatever ingredients suit you in terms of your taste preference and your nutrition requirements. So here's the key to an overnight oat recipe. We're going to use our magical mason jar. And mason jar comes in lots of different shapes and sizes. I have these rather large, it's a 3-cup mason jar. I'm going to make a single serving. Actually, it's going to make 2 servings in this. So it's not going to quite fill up the whole mason jar, but you get to make more or less according to what you prefer. So inside, and I like to do it all in one, it's easy cleanup, right? So we don't even have to use any other utensils. How great is that? So we're going to start with our mason jar here. And we're going to add to this some old-fashioned oats. So this is about 1/2 cup. You can add a little bit more, maybe a heaping 1/2 cup. Then I'm going to add to that one of my favorite ingredients, right? Plain Greek yogurt, right? We're going to add some great healthy probiotics to this overnight oat mix. Now this is plain because if I wanted to, I could sweeten this and I could use something like maple syrup or honey if I wanted to, but actually I'm not gonna because this particular recipe is gonna be sweet enough for me because of what I'm adding to it. Now I'm also gonna add some low-fat milk. If you want, you can use a dairy alternative of your choice. Let's try to look for plain and unsweetened versions, right? Because we want to minimize the added sugars if we can help it. So we're going to add that in. Then we're going to make this a fall classic. So this is my favorite way, literally my favorite way to incorporate a vegetable at breakfast. And guess what this is? This is good old pumpkin puree. So we're not talking pumpkin pie mix. because that would be very sweet, right? This is literally 100% pumpkin, and all it is pumpkin puree. So we're going to add that to this mix. What a great idea, right? For the fall? I think so. But we're adding a vegetable and some really great vitamin A for the immune system, as well as some carotenoids, great for antioxidant properties. It's a vegetable for breakfast, right? Now we're also going to add some seasonings. So I have here my own kind of version of a pumpkin pie spice. So I have some cinnamon and some nutmeg and some cloves. You could add some ginger and some allspice. You could also, if you wanted to, you could buy pumpkin pie spice. They sell it that way. This is just what I happen to have here in the kitchen. And then I'm also going to add some ground flaxseed. You could add some chia seeds if you like. I love to have ground flaxseed on hand. It just comes pre-mixed in a bag. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of vanilla extract, so pure vanilla. And I think that's all we got. You could add a pinch of salt if you'd like. Completely up to you. We're going to lid this mason jar. I'm sure it's nice and secure and tight. And guess what? We're going to give it a good shake. This is where we get a workout in, right? Now that flaxseed is going to help to absorb some of the liquid. So it's going to be thickened. But we're going to put this in the fridge for 4 hours minimum, right? If it is overnight, even better. And you could make several jars of this for several days during the week. You can label them right on top. You can do different variations, again, using different ingredients inside this mason jar. Now, the one recommendation I do have is that if you're going to add anything on top, like some pecans, which I totally plan to add to this, we're not going to add it overnight because they're going to make those pecans mushy and soggy. We're going to add them on top when we're just ready to eat them. That's going to maintain the crunch and the texture of those pecans. Same goes with fruit. If you want to top the next day or as you're about to eat your overnight oats, add your fruit the next day right on top. So there you have a mason jar overnight oats recipe. It's super yummy. Okay, so now I want to show you the second recipe, which hopefully you enjoy just as much. It's also going to incorporate a vegetable for breakfast. How great is that? So I'm going to use a clear bowl because I want you to see the final product. And again, we're going to use our steel cut oats, but I used quick cooking oats. And what I did is on the stovetop, I added some low sodium chicken broth. And then I followed package instructions and I cooked my quick cooking steel cut oats inside. And I added 2 heaping handfuls of baby spinach. So I have steel cut oats, low sodium chicken broth, and baby spinach inside my bowl. This is called savory oatmeal. Have you ever heard of this? It's a completely great concept, kind of new, kind of trendy, but it takes us away from sweet for breakfast. So if we're looking to minimize added sugars, a great way to do that is to have some savory oats in the morning. So I'm going to take them out of my bowl over here. And the best part, I think, I want you to be able to see this. The best part about this is, again, its versatility. So you could use anything you want. You could use a vegetable broth. You could use a bone broth if you want. And you could use whatever vegetables you want. I just happen to use baby spinach because it's kind of mild. But if you wanted to use peppers and onions and mushrooms, you could do that. Now, what else goes well with some savory oats in the morning? A little fried egg. So I'm going to scoop this right on top. And I think it's a great way to make a balanced breakfast, just like we talked about in September. And you could do whatever toppings you want for your savory oats. So on top of this bowl, I like to add some black sesame seed just for a little interest in color and just a little spark of flavor too, a little crunch. And it's a delicious way to have a bowl of oats that are savory for breakfast. I can't wait to dig into this. It's not even breakfast. It's any time of day eating, right? In my opinion. So there you have it. We have our overnight oats and we have our full savory oats. Two ways of using different types of oats and including some cancer protective ingredients like vegetables so that you could build the nourishing potential of your cancer protective diet. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in November for yet again another food holiday.